Hi, everybody. It's Mark down in Sydney, Australia. Today is down here, the 14th of April, 2023. Um, it's now about 9:30 at night, roughly. Um, and I want to yawn. I don't know why. I'm not particularly tired. So, what I want to do tonight is I want to talk about two concepts. One is please no whales, and two, or and also please just $100 is what I'm saying. Please just invest $100 at this point. And two, um, the concept of what I'm going to call the virtuous cycle. Okay, so there are reasons for this. So if you go to the website and you look at the website, at the bottom of the website, it has a graph showing where the People's Petrol token started on March 11th and where it is today, basically. Oh my goodness, it's going to be one of those nights. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I will try not to do that again. Um, I will pause the video rather than force you to watch me yawning. So the I can't believe people actually call it this, but one of the better websites to look at things is called, I kid you not, Poo Coin. Poo coin. Yeah, I didn't. Hey, it works. It's quite popular, and it's actually not a bad site. It's very good because you can get all the contracts. So if you look something up, you can actually find it, and then you can actually. Oh, I really need to put that in. That's what I'm going to do. I need to add that onto the website so that you can. It'll go take you directly to the channel, or not the channel, but it'll take you for the report on People's Petrol token. That's what I need to do. Okay, cool. All right, good point. So I will get around to that. Hang on. Okay, sorry about that. Just yawning. I don't know. Suddenly I'm tired. I don't know why. So what I'm trying to talk about tonight is the concept of asking you, please don't invest more than $100 right now, which seems very strange. That's very counterintuitive. But the reality is that at this point, for $100, you can buy something like 10 or more billion coins. Now, that's going to change very quickly the more people putting in $100, $100, $100. So let's say 10 more people, 50, 20 more people put in $100. That changes the dynamic, all right? And the price of the coin goes up every time somebody puts in a certain amount. The coin's value changes. It obviously increases if somebody purchases. So if you purchase 10 billion coins, the price of the coin goes up. That's about $100 at this point. Don't quote me on that. It could be more, it could be less. What ends up happening is, so as I've mentioned before, I own about 15%. No lie, paid for it. Okay. I didn't just gift it to myself. I didn't sit there and say, okay, well, they're going to create all these tokens. Half belong to me, half go out to the public. No, I didn't do that. I published all the tokens to the public on Pancakeswap. And then I slowly started purchasing them back. All that rocket ship going up thing chart that I was telling you about, that's because of me and a few minor purchases made by bots. I'm poor, okay? I'm so poor. I yeah, no, it's been a month and I've only been able to put a few $100 into the whole thing. Now I've spent a lot of money on other things like having to buy the website hosting and everything, and I suppose I should put the receipts on the website. But this is minor stuff at this point. It's hundreds of dollars, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. There's also things like staking in liquidity pools on Pancakeswap. So for the coins that already exist there, I have to put Binance Coin or BNB as kind of a liquidity pool thing. And by so doing, I'm making it easier for transactions to go through. Don't ask me to explain that. Go look up it on YouTube. It's funny they're all somewhat similar, but they're not the same. The explanations you get on YouTube as to what a liquidity pool is and why tokens should have money placed in the liquidity pool. So in this case, it's People's Petrol token to Binance to BNB, and these two are integrated. And to be able to purchase the People's Petrol token right now, you have to use BNB. There are no other tokens that are able to do that. So you have to buy BNB using cash or credit card, whatever, and then maybe I really should do this another time. I don't know what's wrong with me with this yawning. Um, but yeah, so I've done a lot of stuff behind the scenes. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff to make this happen. And it's not hard. It's just tedious. There's a lot of stuff you have to do. The next thing is going to be I've got like a list of 12 different social media, and I have to create accounts for each of them, all to do with the People's Petrol token. And I'm like, I don't even want to. I don't like social media. Not my thing. I don't regularly visit social media. I just don't. It's not something that's interesting to me. So nonetheless, um, so back to the reason that I'm talking about only $100. Here's the reason, okay? $100 is reasonable. If there's 800, well, first of all, this isn't going to apply. But if, let's say the price didn't change, and $100 equates to 10 billion tokens, well, there's 888 billion tokens. That would mean that it would only require 88 people to get on board for $100, and we would be completely sold out. It doesn't work that way. What is going to happen is, as soon as, say, another 10 people get in, paying $100 each and taking their initially 10 billion, and then the second person is going to get 9 billion, and the third person is going to get 8 billion, and the next person is going to get 7 billion. What you're doing is you are increasing the scarcity by removing tokens from the pool, from the total amount, right? Those tokens are going into individual wallets, your wallet when you buy. That means that those tokens are not available unless you try to sell them. But what that means is that scarcity increases value. So the cost goes up. As the number of tokens decreases, the price of the token, over here, the price of the token increases, right? So here's what happens. That goes on, and eventually it's going to be that $100 is only going to buy you, say, 1 billion People's Petrol token. Now, I don't know where that's going to be. I don't know where that break point is. It could be, 50 billion coins or 100 billion coins down the road. Okay, currently, I don't even know how much I have, but 15%. So several other people come in, $100 each. They all end up owning 1%, 2% of People's Petrol token. Great, good for you. You're not a whale, okay? If you're 1 or 2%, you're not a whale. 15%, yeah, kind of a whale. I'm a little whale. I'm a super big goldfish. That's all I am. Yes, I could significantly affect the price of things, but number one, that would be suicide. That'd be stupid. The whole thing falls apart if I do that. I'm not going to be doing that. Okay, so don't worry about that. The other thing is, I want to see this project take off. I want to see, number one, I want to see the entire 888 billion coins in people's wallets, and then people can trade back and forth amongst each other. All right. And that will, so once everything is bought, we'll have a we'll have a generally stable price for people's petrol token. If there's only 888 billion out there, which is not a small amount, that's why the price is so incredibly low. It's less than one millionth of a penny. When I sit there and say a month from now, 2 months from now, hey everybody, we broke a millionth of a penny. We're now more than a millionth of a penny. People are going to be like, yay, and people are going to be laughing, going, mate, seriously? I'm going to be, no, that's a good thing because we started off at 1/10 of a millionth of a penny. And once we make it to a whole millionth of a penny, that's like a ninefold increase because we started out at 0.11. Okay. And well, 0.80's 1141, I think is the original number. And once we break 0.70's and a 1, that's effectively a ninefold, tenfold increase in the price of the token. Yay! If we can do that once or twice more, yeah, all the people who get in as early as possible are going to be doing very, very well. Okay? And then the most important part is you really want to hold on to it. And I don't like, I don't like the phrases whole huddle and FUD and all that. I don't like those things. It's not me. But here's the deal. I've written about this in the white paper. I've written about this in the web page on the main web page. We're going to create something called a virtuous cycle. And a virtuous cycle is not a vicious cycle. It's the opposite. It's a virtuous cycle in which the company doing well helps people's petrol token. People's petrol token doing well provides liquidity for the company. And that means the ability to get stuff done, to expand, to purchase a new lease for another well, to hire equipment or buy equipment that we need, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? So what I want to do, what we're going to do, is we're going to create a system whereby once we start making a profit in the real world, okay? So initially it's an investment and there's a risk in investment. You are putting your money into something with no 100, I can't even say the words, without 100% guarantee of getting your money back. That just doesn't work. That's another reason why I'm only saying give me $100 and only $100. I don't want you to risk tons of your money. Please don't. Also, if you at this point, if you bought $1,000 of people's petrol token, you would own a lot of people's petrol token and you would be a whale. You'd be somebody with 15 or 20%. I don't want that. I want little goldfish. I want a lot of goldfish all swimming in the same direction, right? Get organized. It's a video. No, it's a meme. It's a picture. Look it up. Get organized. It's about a whole bunch of little fish being eaten by a big fish, and they all get together and they turn around, and the big fish is like, "Uh-oh, yeah, okay, never mind." But the point is, I want a sea full of little fish, not any big fish, no whales, because whales have an unfair ability to move things and to do negative, to do harm. That's not what we want. Okay, so um, virtuous cycle. So we get everything done. Not everything done. We get the first phases done, right? We have had enough money to be able to create a corporation in the United States. We go out and we find the right people who are people who can do exploratory drills. We finally get a chance to buy a lease somewhere. We send in the guys who can do the exploratory drills with their crew, people that they worked with before, right? They all go in, they sink a well, maybe yes, maybe no. If I get a yes, sweet, we change it from an exploratory well to a functioning well, a producing well, and we start taking that oil and we start putting it into transport trucks, and then we start selling it to whoever's willing to buy, right? There's a market out there for that oil. We have to figure out how to do that. Honestly, at this point, I'll be honest, I don't know. I know it exists. I don't know how it's done, but that's okay. That's what the professionals are for. Okay? I'm just the money guy. In many, many ways, I'm just the money guy. I'm just the guy whose job it is to get the money, put it together, and put it to work. Okay? So I'm the ideas guy and the money guy. Fine. Put it that way. So once we get the well producing oil and we're able to sell it, remember, on the website I've explained that the usual cost for extracting oil in the United States of America is about $30 per barrel. The current price, I just looked it up yesterday, is $83 American per barrel, which is like, wow, I was surprised. I thought it had actually gone down. But it is currently $83 per barrel. So $30 extraction fee, $83 selling. Realistically, I'd be happy at 2 to 1. Okay. If we can pull it from the ground at $30 and sell it for 60, so for every $1 we're spending, we're getting $2 back. As far as I'm concerned, that's a win. It's a big win. And we do that for a while. Okay. We we do that and we put the money in the bank. And remember, it's a big deal with me that there should be transparency. So the money, the bank account where all this money is being deposited will be publicly available. Obviously not the number. I'm not going to tell you the number, but I will show you the assets. Okay? And everybody will be able to say, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, okay. The money's going in. Now, the virtuous cycle is the idea that the money that came in as People's Petrol token investment, that money has been used to create the brick and mortar business. Okay, so there is a relationship between these two, even though technically, legally, People's Petrol token is not stock in the oil company. It's not. But we're going to treat it like it is because that's fair. So what we're going to do is we're going to use whatever profit we're making, okay? 10% of that profit will be used. I believe monthly, but overall, whatever, annually, whatever, as long as we can figure this out, to purchase People's Petrol token. Okay? That's our choice. That's our investment. So if you want to look at it as a corporation, okay, the corporation is making an investment in a particular crypto token called People's Petrol token. That means that everyone who owns People's Petrol token is going to be positively affected by the success of the oil company. If the oil company is doing well, if the oil company has got working wells producing oil that we're able to sell and make a profit, we get to use 10% of those profits to purchase People's Petrol token. And that will slowly um, increase the price value of the People's Petrol token. Now, I don't know a lot of the specifics because a lot of this is new to me. A lot what ends up happening in situations like this when it is effectively like a stock buyback, when the company buys back their own token, what frequently happens is there's something called burning in crypto world, which of course you all know about. I don't. It's like sending your tokens, your coins, whatever you want to call them, to a dead wallet, to a wallet that can never be accessed again. You've burned the coins. They're gone. They can never be used. They cease to exist. Now remember, that has a positive effect on the company and the value of the token because of scarcity. the more scarce something is, the more value it has within the crypto world. Um, so basically, that's it. I think I've tried to explain it. I've probably done a terrible job. I'm sorry. Number one, please don't invest more than $100. At this point, $100 gets you like 10 billion tokens. Please, I don't want there to be a bunch of whales. Maybe in 6 months or a year, and it might be sooner than that, I don't know. Maybe it'll cost you $1,000 to buy um, 10 billion tokens. Maybe that's the case. Okay, that's great. I mean, for us, that's great, right? That means that there's money going in, people's petrol tokens doing well. We're finally going to have enough money in the bank to be able to, for me, to sell a small amount, to be able to have that cash and be able to use that cash to create the corporation in the United States and start all the other things, even though it may take years for the American government to finally release the freeze on oil drilling and exploration right now, selling off the parcels for that. Trust me, it will happen. Everyone knows it's going to happen. Like I said, there's more than 100 years of this. The federal government, President Biden was keeping a campaign promise, which was to do an EPA audit of the system. Okay, it's not going to go away. The system's not suddenly going to disappear and he's not going to come up with something else. That's not going to happen. He's going to come to a conclusion. There's a list of recommendations of how to improve things. That's what always happens. So a federal government body investigates something. They sit there and say, well, it's not a bad system. Here's a way to make it better, which is good. We all need that occasionally, so there's no problem with that. So when that happens, we'll be able to use the money that I've personally generated from my 15% to be able to purchase the first whatever and to hire the first people. Now, I don't know the specifics. I don't know the rules. Um, I don't want to do something like Sam Bankman-Fried and rob the cookie jar. That's not what this is about. It's not appropriate for us to rob the cookie jar um, and how do I say this? And use how do I company funds um, to to finance this deal. I don't even know how to do a rug pull. I get the fact that because I hold 15%, I could potentially sell all that at once. That would have a huge impact on the price of the token. It would, go down significantly. But the point is, I only own 15%. The other 85% would still be out there. So I can't see how that would be a huge. It wouldn't destroy things. It would probably destroy things because the confidence in the token would be lost. Fair enough. And everybody else would want to sell. But I'm never going to do that because that's not what this is about. Okay. What it is about is getting, how do I say this? It's about generating enough money to be able to create the oil company in the United States and then do that, actually create an oil company and then eventually a gas stations, which promise that they are satisfied with only 10% profit. That's what the People's Petrol token is about. It's about creating gasoline for the people, right? And guess what? We're using the people's money, your money, when you invest in the People's Petrol token. Yes, you get a return on your investment, but beyond that, you're helping. I'm helping. You are helping to make a better world because what you're doing is you're facilitating the creation of that company, the only ethical oil company on the planet, the only company that sits there and says, We're not here for the stockholders. We're not here to rip off the consumer. If it costs us this much money to make a gallon of gasoline, we will charge that much plus 10%. And that is all. That is going to change everything. Well, honestly, we're going to be so small, we're not going to change a lot. We're not going to change a lot. But wouldn't it be cool if we could create a movement? Wouldn't it be cool to create a movement in which people started to think that the the profits that they make by gouging, sure, fine, you can make so many dollars by gouging the customer. But what if you are popular, and I mean crazy popular, because you're cheaper, because you are ethical, because you promise the consumer, hey, I will sell you petrol, gasoline at a cheaper price, but because you end up selling at 10 gas stations, 100 gas stations, suddenly the money that you're making is actually significant, approaching the amount of money that you made when you were gouging. And you're like, well, wait a second, hold on. I'm doing the right thing and I'm still making tons of money? Yes, that's the idea. Can we possibly can we possibly encourage people and a movement to sit there and say only shop in places that say 10%, only deal with organizations that commit to a 10% profit cap? Now, you have to look at that 10% profit cap in the sense that that includes all the costs for the organization, not just the cost of um, getting the oil out of the ground, getting it transported, getting it refined, getting it transported to the gas stations and sold. There's more to it than that. There are things like the cost of running the gas station, the cost of human resources, the legal costs of having to hire an army of lawyers, the occasional issues with individuals being injured on the job, which is going to happen. And I want to be ethical and I want to be kind. So when that sort of thing happens, I intend to do better than the system says I have to. If the system says, well, you only have to give this guy $30,000 a year, he lost a, please, dear Lord, no, I hope this never happens. But if somebody gets injured, lost a leg, something like that, in the service of the company, then, and some lawyer sits there and says, well, you only have to give him this. No, what does he need? What's the reality? What does this person really need to live a comfortable life? We didn't do it on purpose, but it did happen and it was in our service. Therefore, it's our responsibility to take care of this person. Okay, like I said, I'm trying to make it an ethical gas company, a clean gas company, a kind gas company, all those things. So, no more than $100 for now. Please, no more than $100 investment. No whales, okay? And when we get this thing up and running, the profits that are being made by the oil company, 10% of the profits will be used to um, keep to purchase people's petrol token and therefore help the, the value of the people's petrol token increase. The same way, not the same way, but similar to how an individual who owns stock in a company would benefit by a stock buyback program. Okay, so I don't want to sell my stock, but I know that if the company buys back stock, the value of my stock will increase. That's how stock buyback programs exist. That's why they're that's why they're popular. They're popular for the stockholders and they're popular for the company, um, because they're increasing. It's this magical voodoo way of increasing the stock price of your own company. Same idea. We will use our own profits from the oil side to help People's Petrol token because the People's Petrol token and the initial investors were the ones who made the oil company possible in the first place. Make sense? Okay, enough for now. Thanks for watching. I'm going to label this video number 8, $100 only, and the Virtuous Cycle. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, everybody. Bye.